Mass testing is starting for several days in one of Beijing's most populous districts after what is described as a ferocious COVID outbreak. While much of the world has relaxed curbs, China's authorities continue with their zero COVID policy, trying to stamp out the outbreaks early with measures that include heavy restrictions of movement and mass testing. Let's take you to our China correspondent, Steve McDonald now, who is live for us in Xiamen in quarantine, Steve, but good to see you. So millions of people being tested in Beijing, this outbreak being traced back to a bar, one particular person as well who moved around. But in terms of all of the testing, it's such a huge operation. How does it work? How do people feel about it? And how long is this zero COVID policy going to continue for?
Well, they're all very good questions. I mean, China is really sticking to its zero COVID approach. Here I am in quarantine in Xiamen. I've just come back into the country. Everybody getting off international flights has to spend several weeks in these quarantine hotels. But all over the country, any outbreak, even if it's a small one, can trigger very strict measures. Now, in Beijing, bars and restaurants had only opened for a couple of days. When somebody who was infected went to a bar, several bars, but mainly one, and hundreds, nearly 200 people have been infected as a result of this person visiting those places. As a result, measures are back in place in Beijing to try and bring it under control. In Shaoyang district, millions of people over the next 3 days have to do 3 rounds of PCR testing. In Beijing and in other cities, if you go into a building and someone has been there the day before, say a supermarket or a shop or something, and they were infected, well, you then can be made to stay at home for a whole week, even though you're not infected yourself. Now, the thinking is that these strict measures are needed to prevent another Shanghai-type outbreak, which was pretty terrible, actually, for months. 25 million people locked down there, causing real strain on the system. But many people are wondering how long China will keep doing this. I mean, there's one view. I mean, some government officials say the country's never going to give up on zero COVID, but it's hard to see how you can keep doing this. I mean, the impact on society, on the economy, it's just huge.
Steve, thanks so much for joining us from Xiamen there in China.